SoFi is in a major spot, closing at that 23.29 with a bit of indecision going on between the buyers and the sellers today, getting us under that $23.76 level, that being the more previous test back up to that $25 level, and we remain within the range of 22.42 and 23.76, looking to trend right back up and try to retest that $25 level. So the question is, guys, do we get that push to that 25 once again, or is it time that sellers bring us right back down to the bottom of this range, retesting that 22.42 and ultimately that 20.73? All right, guys, kicking things off on the weekly time frame, the main thing I like to point out with this stock is in the past, we saw that IPO range get to that 28.26, come down, seeing that $25 level being a tougher resistance, and that leads us to a big cup and handle effect. We see that cup get formed, about 2.5 years of price not doing all that much within this range here. Then we create a handle going down to that $852 level, and then we break out of that neckline area, and we break also this descending type of channel that we got into, breaking that 1845, and continue it with a very nice overextended movement to the upside, where we tested 25, got that rejection, but instead of crumbling down like we saw in the past after hitting that 25, we stand our ground and the buyers continue trying to test around that range. So in today's analysis, we're going to analyze if we should be getting another retest of that 25. The difference with this price action is, yes, we are overextended, but we're very healthy here, and this is the best SoFi has ever been, guys. Saw a little bit of chop here, but we're continuing to try to get that move back to 25. All right, guys, on the daily time frame, we saw when we broke out of that descending channel, we got a lot of nice momentum. So it was very volatile within this range here. We see obvious big swings in momentum. Buyers push it up, sellers push it down aggressively, buyers push it up. And once again, pushing us all the way down to that 852. Once we hit that point, guys, we build that momentum with the buyers, bringing us back to the top of this range. A little bit of a volatile movement down, but we find a nice ascending support. And then we see a shift in price action kind of bleed out of that range, and we remain tight above. So we retest that point instead of getting a volatile move to the downside like we were so used to seeing. We saw a nice kind of tighter price action build up here. We don't see a very volatile move to the upside. We can't just get out. And then once we fully claim these important resistance levels, that 1480 being a very obvious resistance, we saw we bounced off here, try to get back up, bounced off again right there. And then once we break that 1845, that being the top of this range and the creator of this descending channel, we get within this range of 2073 and 2242. That's where you see that test of that $25 level. So we're playing around within this range, and we see a big gap up, guys, leading to a continuation up in a test of that $25 level, that being a very stubborn resistance in the past. That brings us right back to the bottom of this range. Buyers cannot hold here. We see a very sharp rejection, a lot of selling pressure, and then you see sellers try to bring us below this range, seeing that, bottom wick. Buyers buy right back up, try to trend back to that zone, but we get to around that 23.76, back within this range. So a lot of volatility going on here at this point, and then we trend up a little bit tighter as we kind of get right back to that range. Lots of selling pressure trying to get over that 22.42. Next day price action, very nice wide green bar showing a shift in momentum and ultimate buyer control. So we did go up higher. We did break this possible descending pattern that we were seeing ourselves get into, right? Get that nice move up, descend, get a shorter move up, and get a shorter move up. We did definitely break that, especially right here, breaking that level of 23.76. We've created a higher move up from this previous attempt, but then we do see sellers kind of bring us back downwards. And then today we see an indecisive day between the buyers and the sellers, and we are within this range of 22.42 and 23.76. So I do think that there's still a little bit of back and forth, but the fact we've gotten above and created a higher high than last time, very good bullish sign, as well as not getting slammed down to the floor. I think we do stay within the range of 22.42 and 23.76, not getting back within the range of 20.73 and 22.42. I think we do trend within here, guys. We could see a little bit of chop, but I do think that we do form a healthier setting profile to the top of here and fully break out and retest at 25. That's a prediction on the channel. Another retest of $25, shooting for those all-time highs of around that $28 level. Definitely see the volatility starts to pick up here after seeing a good amount of condensed chop at this zone. Still quite volatile, but we are chopping around. Did see that big volatile spike up, but ever since we got that, we came back down here. Bit of tighter chop once again, and then we see that volatility pick right back up. And I think we will remain in quite a volatile state. I think we do get that retest of the top, being that 23.76. I think that buyers stay in that ultimate control, kind of starting to see a stair-step-like pattern, right? Nice move up, small retracement, nice move up, small retracement, and nice move up, trading back to that $25 level where we'd ultimately want to get that break. All right, guys, on the hourly, we see that break of that possible descending range that we were talking about on the daily. So we kind of create that after that first attempt up, get crushed back down with a gap down and continuation, but buyers step in when they have to step in, leading to a gap up and retest right around that zone, hitting that 2376 and kind of conforming to this descending range. And then once again, we gap down, we kind of play around within that range of 2073 and 2242, and we get a nice movement up and we start conforming with that descending range. Once again, that resistance staying in place. But then we get a nice move over that and continuation with the buyers showing that they really want to push the stock higher and starting to see a stair step like pattern, right? We get that chop, we get that nice move up, small retracement, nice move up, and small retracement. And then we see sellers try to step in here, but we ultimately are still within this, higher low range that we saw right here. So still creating a higher low. And now buyers are trying to push us back up. So bullish on the hourly, guys. I think we look very nice here. We did get a higher move than last time, so that shows that the buyers aren't conforming to a descending-like range, and we are still trying to push higher to that $25 level. Now, if the buyers can kind of break this descending notion that we have going on here and avoid touching the floor of 2242, that would look very bullish. Even if we come back down to the floor of 2242, you could be seeing a little bit of a double bottom-like effect, bottoming here, and then trying to work our way back up. I think that it is kind of unlikely that we come back to this range of 2073 and 2242, given that we've kind of played around this range for a long time now. And I think that if the bulls are starting to pick up that control, guys, we are going to finally use that as a stronger support, rather a resistance. As we see here, kind of using that resistance as support right here, bouncing off there, leading us to a move higher than that previous attempt. Definitely what I'm seeing here, guys. SoFi's in an interesting spot here. We would want to see volume start to flush in again. We see volume really ramp up as we get that move to 25. And we see a few spikes in volume. But right now it has been pretty constant and stagnant. So we definitely want to see a nice spike in volume and buyer interest, leading us to a break of that 2376 once again. And then a break of that, more recent high, which now we would be marked up around that 2448 rough level, would say, to 2450. Breaking that, and then you want to see that ultimate retest of 25. Break through there where you'd want to target a break of 25. And then starting to trend to those all-time high territory, that being that 28.26 and that previous attempt of 27, that rough 27 psychological dollar level. So long time ago, this is an IPO range, so it doesn't do too much to us technically, but good to look at as that's the only point that we have in the SoFi history of reaching that point. On the hourly, we kind of do see that we start using that resistance as support, leading to that nice movement up. And even though we are in a bit of a descending notion, we still are at a higher low level within this kind of stair step like pattern. So all time frames right now looking very bullish, and that's where we stand on SoFi. Now, if the bears did really reject us hard at that $25 level again, that would be a bearish sign. But as of right now, I think we look very nice for a retest of that point before either seeing a breakdown or a breakthrough. So that's all I got for you guys today. Seeing a nicer ascending profile on SoFi, and I do think that we trend back to that $25 level at least one more time, kind of testing that before either making a movement down with a lot of selling pressure up there or finally getting that breakthrough. But we do predict that we get a breakthrough of 25 before we see a pullback within this overextended run here. So let me know your price predictions in the comments below where you guys see SoFi in the short term and the long term. If you guys want me to continue to cover SoFi, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, trade smart. I will see you all in the next one.